A few days ago when I recorded my video, The Strange Death or The Mysterious Death of Anne Heche, I wasn't expecting it to get the kind of attention that it did, relatively speaking to, when compared to other videos that I've posted, especially on this, which is my backup channel. I have rarely gotten that many views, and again, that many views for me, it all differs from person to person. It's all relative depending on what your typical audience is, what your typical view count is. But for me, for this channel, particularly for my backup channel, that video went, I guess you could say, semi-viral. It was put out at the right time when there was just starting to be some questioning of what actually happened with Anne Heche on that day, and some of the footage that was exposed, particularly by the helicopter news camera, where we saw her bust out of the sheet that they'd placed over her and seemingly try to get away from the ambulance that the firemen were loading her in. Firemen, not paramedics. A lot was wrong with that picture. A lot is wrong with that picture, and so when I posted that video with the commentary that I gave, as I said, it got a lot more views than is typical for me. Now, one of the hazards of getting views from people who don't usually watch my videos is you get abuse. You get people coming on just ragging on you, whether for your presentation style or for how you look or for how you sound or whatever. I mean, that's kind of to be expected. I actually had one guy come on and say, "Look, no offense, but you sound really gross. You sound like your nose is full of snot, and you should really do something about that." I mean, yeah. Well, I did have a cold that day, so I mean, I don't know what you want from me, man. But that's sort of typical of the sort of thing that I'm talking about. Plus, I had people saying, "Get to the point! Get to the point! Why do you never get to the point?" So, and I understand. I don't. I'm not the most articulate person in the world all the time, and I am a slow talker. And okay, fine. I understand your impatience. I do. But at the same time, what should matter is what I said, what I revealed, or what I had to say about the subject and whether it was on the money or not on the money, not your annoyance with the fact that I sounded like I had a cold, or the fact that I talk too slowly, or that you don't like my presentation style. But I mean, all of that's all water under the bridge, and it's stuff that you've got to expect anyway. You have to have a thick skin about things like that. It's just something that I don't normally see because I have a certain niche audience most of the time, and they are used to my slow talking style or whatever. Although I don't usually have a snotty nose like I did a few days ago, and like I still do kind of now. Something else that I noticed was people who would come on and be debunkers, and say, "Come on, there's no conspiracy." And what they would usually just say is something either absolutely substance free, like just, "Come on, you conspiracy nuts are so stupid," or they would maybe have a response or an explanation for one small thing. Like, okay, they put the sheet over her because she was burned, and that's why they did it. There's no conspiracy, okay, you idiots? No conspiracy. Where the whole question of the sheet over her is a very, very minor point mentioned over the course of the video. But they act like, well, look, I got this one point of yours out of the 9 or 10 things you said. This one tiny thing that you barely said, I've got that covered. And so take that, you conspiracy nut. Also with the conspiracy thing, and this is a really important and crucial point to pay attention to. You find yourself getting accused of conspiracy, and I know conspiracy theory is just one of those conspiracists or conspiracy nut or whatever. Those are all just ad hominem. Those terms were developed in the first place to try to dishonestly, disingenuously dismiss people who asked pertinent questions, who had good questions about the official story and pointed out how things didn't hold up one way or the other. But I think it's important to note that in that video, I never propose a conspiracy. And I do think this is important. This is not me just splitting hairs. Okay. If I were to come on and say and propose a quote unquote conspiracy theory, I would say, here's what I think really happened. It was the CIA, and here's how they did it, and here's how this happened. When we saw this happen, it was this group doing this thing, and so forth and so on. That would be a conspiracy theory. I do not do any theorizing about what actually happened to Anne Heche. What I simply do in that video and in the couple other videos that I have on that subject is point out all the things that don't fit together, point out all the anomalies. And those anomalies remain anomalies. I don't. Do I know what did happen? No, I don't. I don't pretend to know. We'll probably never know, because the media doesn't ask the right questions, because they're mostly controlled, and the people who could reveal the truth don't reveal the truth because they are mostly people who have no interest in being honest. What I do find interesting is, just like with Pizzagate, when everything came spilling out about Pizzagate in November of 2016, there really was no response to anything by any official source. It was just, that's been debunked. That's been debunked. There's not even that restaurant doesn't even have a basement. That's been debunked. But what they don't respond to is, again, just like with what I was talking about the other day, they think they've got you or they act like they've got you because they say there's not even a basement in the Comet Pizza Ping Pong. So therefore, you're all wet. You're all wrong. This is all just nonsense. In fact, there does appear to be a basement of that restaurant. But putting that aside, putting that minor point aside, nothing whatsoever has been said about the spirit cooking emails. Nothing has been said about the pizza code emails revealed by WikiLeaks. Nothing has been revealed. I mean, they didn't say anything. They didn't say these stupid people just thought it was code for child trafficking. But really, here's the simple explanation. No, they didn't go near it. They didn't touch it. No official source went anywhere close to the actual data points, the actual substance that was being brought forth by people who were noticing these things. And what I notice about the Anne Heche story is, again, nobody's really said. I mean, they attempt things like, oh well, when she was bursting out of that blanket, I had somebody say that's just a death throw. You know, it's a death throw. Okay, it's a death throw. Well, I don't know. That didn't look much like any kind of death throw to me. It looked more like a person sitting up in a stretcher. And I dare you to watch that video and come to any different sort of conclusion. I mean, I guess it could be a death throw because anything is possible, but that didn't look like a death throw to me. But again, that's one person taking on a little bitty part of the entirety of this series of events that simply don't add up. Anne Heche, 15 minutes prior, being at this hair salon place 2 miles away from the crash site, and the hair salon owner reporting that she seemed absolutely normal, nothing wrong with her. She wasn't slurring her words. She didn't seem upset. She didn't seem like a woman about to drive away, at a huge rate of speed in a blind suicidal rage. She seemed normal, and she bought a wig. If she was going to go, if her plan was to go and wrap her car around a telephone pole or something and kill herself, if she was just on a death march, if she just had a death wish at that point because she was so depressed and so far gone, why does she buy a wig? It's common sense. If you go to a store and buy a wig, it means you're planning to live for a time longer, wherein you will, on some occasion, wear that wig. Why would you buy a wig and then jump off the Empire State Building, right? That doesn't make sense. Again, why would you buy a wig and then go do what she was reported to have done? Just go on this cocaine fentanyl fueled crazy drive of death down a residential street. It doesn't add up. Now, what actually happened? How we resolve these contradictions? I don't know. I don't know how we resolve them. I don't. If I had a thought about that, if I had some insight into that, if I had some knowledge about that, I would say so. But I don't. I don't know Anne Heche. I don't know what I mean. I don't know the entire fabric of Hollywood and what's going on, and I don't know these people. I don't want to know them. Most of them, they strike me as thoroughly disreputable, terrible people. Most of them, as far as what I've seen and what I've heard, and what I can gather. So no explanation. I don't have an explanation, but the point is, you point. The thing is, you point to contradictions. Okay, or that's what I do. That's what I'm comfortable doing. I'm comfortable saying it doesn't make sense to buy a wig and then go off and kill yourself. If you bought a wig, you're for $130 or whatever, and then you're acting completely normal. You're probably planning to wear that wig on some occasion in the future. Okay. Also, I will say that when you, well, I'm not an expert about auto rescue or anything like that. I do know that, I worked as a lifeguard, and I know that when if you have somebody, say, diving in the shallow part of the pool, and they hit their head, you stabilize the head, and then you bring them out of the water. You administer CPR if you need to, or mouth to mouth if you need to, but you stabilize the head, and then you strap on this thing that keeps their neck straight, to avoid or to try to avoid spinal injury. When they brought her out of the car, there was nothing on her head. That doesn't make sense. She was just in this terrible car accident. She was knocked all around. Who knows what kind of injuries she sustained. They would have stabilized, paramedics under any kind of normal circumstance would stabilize the head. Okay, there would be a thing on her head, a neck brace, keeping her neck straight. Okay, I do know that much, and that was something that I didn't even think about at the time. But looking back on it now, absolutely. Okay, maybe there's a reason why they put a sheet over her face, even if she was struggling to breathe. I don't know. That doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me. Maybe if she's badly burned and they want to protect her body from more damage. I understand that, but you still also want to administer oxygen. There would be probably a paramedic on the scene, putting an oxygen mask over her face, over her mouth and nose, so her face would be exposed. It would have to be exposed, because the idea would be we've got to get her breathing. Instead, they put this thing over her entire body that looks like a body bag. Okay, it wasn't a body bag because it wasn't zipped up or anything, but it looks like what they do with, and you see it all the time. Like I guess it's just something they often do in movies and stuff. If somebody's dead, they pull the blanket over their head. It's sort of like a way of signifying this person's gone. They're not there anymore, and it's sort of a way of preserving their dignity and not just having their dead face, their dead eyes, being exposed. That's what it looked like. It looked like they were covering, even if it wasn't a body bag. It looked like they had a thing over her entire body, like they were covering a dead body. And then she proved not to be dead. She sat up and showed resistance to the idea of being in the ambulance. But those men dressed as firemen, I'll stipulate that they really are truly firemen. Why are firemen and not paramedics taking her to the ambulance? Why? Nobody has answered that. Nobody can answer that. Nobody can tell me why they didn't when she sat up, why they didn't stop and say, "Oh, ma'am, are you all right? We thought you were a goner. Are you okay? Do you know what day it is? You still look badly burned. We still need to take you to the hospital." But also remember, when they took her to the hospital, she was reported to be in stable condition and expected to recover. And stable condition over the next couple days suddenly became critical condition, and suddenly became, oh, she's in a coma, and suddenly became, oh, she's brain dead. That doesn't happen. Okay, again, all I am doing is pointing out things that don't fit, pointing out anomalies. Now, Accuse me of being a conspiracy theorist if you like, but I'm not actually proposing any conspiracy. I am saying things that don't fit together, that don't add up. You add 2 and 2, and you look and there's 7 instead of 4. Like, what the hell? This doesn't make mathematical sense. This doesn't make any kind of logical sense at all. All right, so I'll end this video retrospective now, just commenting on the comments that I got, and we'll see what happens after this. Hoo boy, I bet this won't go viral again, but I bet this will just. I think I'm receding down to my normal numbers. We'll see what happens though. Thanks for watching.